Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to create horse archers in the combat system. So what we are doing firstly is we are creating the baked animations for the mesh animation system. So we are going to the setup scene here. Then we are adding our horse object and our unit. We assign both of them an animator controller. Here's the horse archer. This is so we can compare the sizes after baking if everything is done right. Then we open the animation baker. Firstly, let's bake the horse. So we add the horse model, the animations we want to have baked, and its material. And we can lower the frame rate of the baked animations. A lower frame rate is better for performance. And we select the bone that we want to have baked, where the saddle then will be placed upon. So for us, this is now the torso. Then we bake. We see that the horse is now too big, so we can adjust the scale correction factor to make it smaller. Delete this one. And you can see the size is fitting now. And we can try it out. Let's duplicate this because it expects a LOD level, which we have not done yet. You can create a LOD level by just baking the same animations, but with a lower LOD horse or a lower frame rate, which can improve performance, but for now we just use the same. And then we add an autoplay clip just to see what it does. Here you can see the animation is playing and it's working. So we can create a prefab out of the mesh animated horse. And then we can also remove this horse here. Then we do the same thing for our human. Reference the material that we want to have and add the animations. So here we need to add all the normal rider animations, since it can also go into close combat. And then it requires 8 shooting animations, so 1 for every 22.5 degrees. Here we can also need to bake the bones that we want to keep, those being the left hand and the right hand. And then we can create the animations. Now we can see that it is too big once again. So let's bake it with 0.1 scale. And it is roughly the same. It's a bit too big, but for now this will work out. Here we do the same, just duplicate this and add a clip that we want to preview. So let's put in the idle clip. And we can see the animation is playing and it is working. Can also look at the bones. They are also working out. Can do for the bones. It's also at the baked scale here. Okay, so now that we have the animations, we need to add the animation events. So for the attack ranged ones, we add on attack, and here we need to pass the value 1. 0 means it's a melee attack, 1 means it's a ranged attack, and this is the percent of the animation where we want to play the event. So let's put this like 50%, should be fine. This event also needs to be put into the Unity animations. The on attack event is a value of 0 for melee and 1 for range. But the animations that come with the system already have those added. So what we now need to do is go to the melee animation of the rider and also add on attack. Here just leave the 0 because this is melee, and also let's put this at 50%. And we create a prefab out of that one. We can also remove this human here. Then we create an empty object, call that unit horse archer for now. Here we add the horse as a child. Oh, actually not. We need to add the horse with the Unity animator as a child. So horse, set it to 0, add its animator. Then we add the waypoint prefab, set it also to 0. Now we create a unit script and we adjust the sizes. So let's put it like this. Then we add the tag unit and the layer unit only for this object. Now we add the references. Agent visual transforms is our horse. Then we add an animator link mesh horse archers. Also reference this one. And we can already reference the unit here. Okay, so what we do now, we open the horse. Then go to our baked animations. We can add the mesh baked horse just underneath the horse root object. Set it to 0. Then after meshed animated, we add a empty game object under the torso, call that saddle, and add the mesh animated human. We will adjust the position of the saddle and the human later in play mode. This is not just to see where it is. Here we add the relay animation events mesh, so the events called from those animations actually do something at the unit. Reference the unit here. Then we go to the Unity animated horse at the bones and also create the saddle there. Torso. Also call that saddle. And there we add our Unity animated human. quite big. Like this. Then at the human, we need to add the horse archer animator. If you want to switch animations, you can simply go into the animator or duplicate it beforehand to have a backup and drag and drop new animations here and everything. Also for the attack animation. Then we go to the human. There we add the relay animation events without the mesh at the end, just the normal animation. Okay, nice. Now we can go back to our unit and reference already the animator of our human, the animator of our horse, the skin mesh renderer of our human, and our horse, as well as the mesh animator of the human and the mesh animator of the horse. What we can also already do is that we add all of the animations. Baked animation. So horse death, horse idle, horse walk. Those attack range back, back left, back right, front left, front right, front left, right. This is then also a melee attack animation. Right at death. Idle is for now the same between idle and walk, but you could also bake a specific rider animation when the horse walks. This one won't use a shield, so we don't reference that. Okay, nice. So what we do now is we create a point where the horse archer will shoot from. So let's put it something like this. This is where the actual arrows come from. Once we've placed that, we create another empty game object, call it, for example, shoot find parent, and put the shoot point as a child of that. This is because we will rotate the shoot point, and so it always aligns. And then we reference the shoot point parent on there. So what we now do, we create weapons. For this, we need to firstly create weapons parents, because the system will switch the weapons between the Unity animated and the mesh animated, and so that it knows where to actually set it to. So we go to the left and the right hand. Hand left is bow parent, and hand right is sword parent. Then we can add the bow as a child of the Unity animated. I don't know why it is so small. Ooh. then set it to 0, 0, 0. Like that. And what that is important is that the bow is always at 0. The scale you can change, but the position and rotation needs to be at 0. We only change the bow parent that we have created. This is because when the system switches it between the Unity animated and the mesh animated object, it sets its position and rotation always to 0 to that of the bow parent. Then something like this here should be fine. Then we do the same thing with the sword. Which seems to be quite big. And here we also only change its parent, never the position of the weapon itself. Okay, nice. So what you can also do, go to the bow. And here it has the ranged weapon script. We need to reference the shoot point. And now we also need to add arrows. So let's go to our prefabs. And add the arrows as child of the shoot point. And duplicate the arrows as often as you have ammo. So let's say 15. Let's drag and drop the arrows here under the arrows list and disable the arrows. So we then create the same thing for the mesh animated parent and thread parent. We will change the position of those later in game, so we need to not really worry if the bow and sword is not perfectly aligned. We can disable the sword since it only gets activated when the formation goes into close combat, not when it is shooting. And then we reference the melee weapon here, the ranged weapon also, and its parent. So the sword parent here for the animated one, the sword parent for the mesh animated, same thing for the bow. And then we also do the same thing for the saddle down there, which we created earlier. Saddle here and saddle here. Okay, very nice. This should actually be it so far. So now we can create a prefab out of our unit. And we create a formation. So I add the formation script. For now we add the formation collider as a child. Reference it here and here. We can also add visualizers to show the path that the unit takes, its range, or its melee attack size. So for now we take the path, the archer range, actually not the path, the horse archer range, and the melee detection size, and reference them under visualizers. So what we do now, we take our horse archers, add them as a child of the formation, and duplicate them as often as we want to have actual units in the formation. So let's say we want to have 20 units. Now we have 20 units there. Now that that is done, we need to go to create a unit data. It's easiest to just duplicate our existing unit data and adjust the values. So it's our horse archers for now. Then we reference the unit data. There it is. And click Create Formation. The yellow lines here are the detection range, so you can see how far they can shoot. Now that that is done, we create a prefab out of it. Can delete it. And in the unit data, reference the prefab that we created under formation prefab. What we do now is we go to the army scriptable object and add there our horse archers. Now we can actually try it out and battle demo to see if everything is working and to also adjust the positions of the weapons for the mesh animated object. So let's go to and as here you can already see that both the weapon and the unit's position in the saddle is off. This does not put us because we now simply change the saddle. You need to always then change one frame because of the mesh animated system. So let's say something like this here. Further. Seems good enough. Then we copy the component of the saddle, go to our unit, and paste it. Now the saddle position is working out fine. What we need to change is the weapons. So we go to the bow parent. This is the left arm. So it should look something like this here. I think that is good enough for demonstration purposes. So we go back in and paste it here. Now for the mesh animated it works. Now we also need to do it for the Unity animated. And it's important to always only change the parent, never the weapon itself. Apart from the weapon scale, this one you can change. Okay, something like this. This was Unity animated, so we are going to just select the bow and paste the component. Now we can do the same one for the sword, but since it is the same workflow, I'm just gonna skip that for now. So let's try it out if they actually shoot. Let's put them a bit to the side so we can see if the angel gets passed down. Here you can also see the visualize, the melee, and the detection. So the icon got on, so it seems like, and they are shooting. Yes, we can also look at it from Unity animated. Seems like the bow is not actually moving. That's the hand, so let's look up what's going on there. Oh, that is because we pasted it into the wrong rig. So this is the one that is actually moving. Yes, let's just change it really quick. So change the bow parent to this left hand and this word parent to the right hand. Now it's probably that the positions are off again because we based it on the other bones. But it's just to see that it actually moves with the hands. Yeah, positions are off. We can just fix this real quick so it looks more beautiful. But it's something like this. Copy it. Then let's paste it again. Bow parent. We actually have it on the wrong hand now, I see. But yeah, I mean, this is just visuals. You can change it to wherever you want. It's just to show that it is now working. And if we place them like this, can see that they are in fact shooting to the right. Yeah, there it was. And if we move them around, now they're shooting to the back because there's an enemy, but it's just to show that they are actually shooting while moving. You probably don't have the problem with the two different bones rigs. So yeah, because this is a really badly created model, but it works like this. And if you have problems, please let me know. Otherwise, I can also recreate the video with the right bones from the beginning. But the setup is the same. So have a nice day.